Chapter 352. Chapter 204 Obtaining the Profound Water Pill, Advancing to Sixth Layer Foundation Establishment. Clang tilde tilde, clang tilde tilde, clang tilde tilde. At this moment, waves of bell sounds erupted from the demon vibrating bell. It was as if the morning bell and evening drum washed the soul. An invisible power of sound waves burst forth from the demon vibrating bell. The surrounding air seemed to transform into ripples. The power of the sound waves condensed into something tangible, like a shock wave. Without a doubt, this power surpassed the destructive force that any of Jiang Fan's life talismans could unleash. But there was nothing he could do about it. After all, the level of the demon vibrating bell was truly too high. Even in its currently damaged state, its might could not be matched by a Foundation Establishment cultivator. If it weren't for the special energy of the luck points, he wouldn't have been able to completely refine this ancient treasure. Rumble tilde tilde tilde. In an instant, this power of sound waves swept in all directions, covering an area with a 10-kilometer radius. Any demon within this area was immediately struck by the sound waves. Facing this demon-slaying sound, these demons had no ability to resist at all. The bodies of the demons shattered instantly, as if they were watermelons splitting into pieces. Hundreds and thousands of demons were completely obliterated, turning into countless fragments. Even the demonic chi on them was wiped out. It was as if the demonic chi in this area was eradicated, sweeping across the 9 heavens and 10 lands. With just one strike, all the demons in this region were shaken to death, and not a single demon survived. The ground also showed cracks, resembling a spider web. This clearly demonstrated the extraordinary power of the demon vibrating bell. A bunch of pests dared to act wildly in front of me, it's simply courting death. The demon vibrating bell felt a sense of exhilaration, as if a weight had been lifted. Not bad. Jiang Fan felt that deep within his elixir field and sea of qi, a significant amount of primordial spiritual power had been consumed. Clearly, activating the demon vibrating bell once required no small amount of primordial spiritual power, but it was all worth it. If he relied on himself, he wouldn't know how long it would take to wipe out this group of demons. But with the power of the demon vibrating bell, he could exterminate them instantly. Boom tilde tilde. At this moment, a message instantly entered the depths of his consciousness. You encountered an attack by 2 Foundation Establishment cultivators from the Xianxia sect and a large number of demons. After a bloody battle, you killed them all and survived a life-and-death ordeal, earning 30,000 luck points and a 7th grade opportunity. 7th grade opportunity. Upon sensing this information, Jiang Fan felt very satisfied. As expected, staying in place and waiting for the right moment naturally led to opportunities, and now 2 Foundation Establishment cultivators from the Xianxia sect delivered an opportunity to him. If he had not been hiding here cultivating, how could he have encountered them? Moreover, the 7th grade opportunity was evidently on these 2 storage bags. Besides that, he also obtained 30,000 luck points, which was quite a haul. After all, he had previously spent as much as 40,000 luck points to refine the exquisite tower. Now, he had made up for a significant part of the loss. For him, the more luck points the better. Whoosh whoosh whoosh. Thinking of this, Jiang Fan waved his hand and immediately retrieved the storage bags of the 2 Foundation Establishment cultivators from the Xianxia sect. With a gentle sweep of his spiritual sense, the treasures inside the storage bags surfaced in his consciousness sea. Wait, isn't this a Tier 2 elixir, the Profound Water Pill? There are actually 4 bottles of them. As expected from Foundation Establishment cultivators of the Xianxia sect, they indeed have many elixirs on them. Jiang Fan's eyes lit up, feeling very excited. Previously, he had slain many Foundation Establishment cultivators, but he never found many elixirs. But now, he actually found 4 bottles of Tier 2 elixirs. If these elixirs were sold, who knows how many spirit stones they would be worth. It can only be said that these 2 truly were inner sect disciples of the Xianxia sect, much richer than other Foundation Establishment cultivators. The so-called profound water pills are refined from spirit medicines like the profound ice flower and water spirit fruit. Each profound water pill contains enormous medicinal power. At the same time, the medicinal power is very gentle. It's said to be a Tier 2 elixir unique to the Xianxia sect. Aside from purchasing from the Xianxia sect, they're basically unavailable elsewhere. It's a Tier 2 elixir highly welcomed by Foundation Establishment cultivators. After all, the medicinal power of the profound water pill is gentle, making it very suitable for gradual absorption by foundation establishment cultivators. Unlike the fire yang pill, whose violent medicinal power can easily damage the meridians. With these elixirs, advancing to the sixth layer of foundation establishment is just a matter of time. Jiang Fan felt very satisfied. Indeed, this seventh-grade opportunity proved endlessly beneficial to him. With these Tier 2 elixirs, his cultivation could definitely be swiftly elevated to the foundation establishment fifth layer perfection. By then, advancing to the sixth layer of foundation establishment would be a piece of cake. Of course, apart from these profound water pills, he also discovered a large number of spirit stones in the storage bags. Altogether, they totaled around 200,000 spirit stones. But besides these, there weren't many other treasures. Nevertheless, for him, acquiring these 4 bottles of profound water pills was already more than sufficient. Boom tilde tilde. At this moment with a thought, Jiang Fan once again activated the profound light concealment array, concealing this place. The surroundings became shrouded by the profound light barrier. Unless a foundation establishment cultivator proficient in pupil technique came, they shouldn't be able to discover him. At this moment, in the deepest part of the Yaling secret realm, 2 mysterious beings were also constantly observing Jiang Fan. The ancient demon vibrating bell. This legendary treasure from the ancient era has actually fallen into the hands of this primordial talisman sect disciple. Just how abundant is this guy's destiny? Chapter 353. Chapter 204 Obtaining the Profound Water Pill, Advancing to 6th Layer Foundation Establishment /2. And he even gained the recognition of the demon vibrating bell. No wonder he could easily refine the exquisite tower. A young voice was deeply shocked. It thought that this disciple of the primordial talisman sect gaining the exquisite tower's recognition was already a heaven-defying stroke of fortune, quite extraordinary. Who would have thought this kid still held an ancient treasure? It's truly unbelievable. Even the heritage of a Taoist from the ancient era might be just as profound. Indeed, he is the last disciple of the primordial talisman sect, inheriting the grand destiny of the primordial talisman sect. That's why he can obtain so many fortuitous encounters. If this kid continues to grow, he might have the hope of reaching divinity transformation. An elderly voice spoke in a deep tone. It thought highly of this young cultivator, believing his future was boundless. If so, should we provide even more rewards? After all, if this kid can grow up, perhaps he can help us completely solve this demon. The young voice said in a deep tone. We can try. This kid seems to be a body cultivator as well. There seems to be a resource left in the treasury. Perhaps it could be given to him. But he must hunt enough demons to earn this reward. The elderly voice said. We shouldn't break the rules here. Let's see what destiny holds for him. The young voice agreed with this point. 1 month later. Basically, during this month, Jiang Fan stayed hidden in this nameless cave cultivating. Using the strength of the Tier 2 Profound Light Concealment Array, he formed the Profound Light Barrier, thus concealing his presence. The demons and cultivators around couldn't detect his existence. He stayed here safely to cultivate. What happened in the outside world had little to do with him. Moreover, with the profound water pill obtained earlier, his cultivation advanced rapidly. Rumble tilde tilde tilde. As Jiang Fan consumed one profound water pill after another, they were immediately digested, then devoured and absorbed by the primordial talisman, finally transforming into droplets of primordial spiritual power. He sensed the vast primordial spiritual power flowing through his meridians, forming what seemed like rivers. Boom! Yet another profound water pill's medicinal power was devoured and digested. Jiang Fan sensed his internal primordial spiritual power elevating to the 5th layer foundation establishment perfection, easily connecting 60 secondary meridians. The primordial talisman deep within the elixir field and sea of qi kept rotating. Like a planet, it triggered the primordial spiritual power deep in each meridian, seemingly forming a spiritual power circulation. Centered on his body, the surrounding heaven and earth spiritual qi surged in, forming a spiritual energy vortex. The entire cave was flooded with massive heaven and earth spiritual qi. Wisps of spiritual qi also crazily rushed into his body, being devoured and absorbed by his physique. The perfect level profound water pill, its medicinal power is indeed immense, not comparable to ordinary grade elixirs. Jiang Fan was very satisfied with the profound water pill. These profound water pills were originally ordinary grade, but after being refined by the 10,000 transformations pill furnace, all impurities and elixir poison were removed, becoming perfect grade elixirs. Therefore, the medicinal power of the profound water pill increased by at least 30 to 40% compared to before. Moreover, it had no elixir poison. Resistance was also significantly reduced. Thus, he could consume more profound water pills. This allowed his cultivation to rapidly improve, saving much time on arduous practice. The time has come. Sitting cross-legged on the ground, Jiang Fan operated the mixed element talisman scripture, circulating his internal primordial spiritual power through round after round, feeling his internal primordial spiritual power had reached its peak. To continue increasing primordial spiritual power, he could only penetrate new meridians. Droplets of primordial spiritual power gathered, seemingly forming rivers, wandering deep in the meridians. Then, under the guidance of the primordial talisman, they began to impact new meridians. Boom tilde tilde. In an instant, with just a light impact, the vast primordial spiritual power easily broke through the bottleneck, like a flood breaking through a dam. A large amount of primordial spiritual power rushed into new meridians. Sixth-layer foundation establishment. Undoubtedly, his cultivation had greatly improved, advancing from the fifth-layer foundation establishment to the sixth-layer foundation establishment realm. There wasn't much of any bottleneck in between. As long as his internal spiritual power was sufficient, he naturally could advance to the next realm. If other foundation establishment cultivators knew about Jiang Fan's situation, they'd surely be filled with envy, jealousy, and hatred. The gap between people was immense. Other foundation establishment cultivators needed to cautiously break through bottlenecks, fearing failure, and thus damaging their meridians, requiring lengthy time to repair internally. But Jiang Fan now didn't need any concern. Merely a single impact allowed him to break through easily. Moreover, without any accidents. This is indeed the benefit of solid foundation. With firm foundations, subsequent cultivation becomes increasingly easier. Other cultivators may initially cultivate rapidly, but as they progress, the bottlenecks become increasingly terrifying. Eventually, they become insurmountable barriers. This is why some cultivators remain stuck at a bottleneck for life, unable to break through. It's often an early-stage cultivation hidden risk, which surfaces later. By the time they regret it, it's usually too late, nearly impossible to salvage. Finally advanced to sixth-layer foundation establishment. Jiang Fan opened his eyes, feeling indescribable joy. He sensed the primordial spiritual power in his body, and the spiritual sense increased considerably compared to before. At least 1/3 augmented. If it were a regular foundation establishment of loose cultivators, advancing from the fifth layer to the sixth layer foundation establishment would take over a decade, but he now only took several months. Such cultivation efficiency is truly astonishing. Yet this is thanks to his encounters of destiny. Without these assists, relying solely on arduous practice, his time consumption would be significant. Destiny encounters are thus vital for cultivators. Tusk at such cultivation speed, wouldn't he soon advance to the golden core? Earth Spirit Root's aptitude is terrifying indeed. The 10,000 transformations pill furnace clicked its tongue. It thought of its previous owner, Taoist Wan Hua, who had a low-grade spirit root. Even with significant destiny encounters, he could only try to break through to golden core at around 200 years old. Just reaching the 9th layer foundation establishment took Taoist Wan Hua over 100 years. The difference between individuals is indeed vast. Cultivation speed is indeed fast, but the foundation is solid, which is the true wonder. The demon vibrating bell valued the foundation as more crucial. Fast cultivation is pointless without a solid foundation because attempting higher realms without firm grounding leads to insurmountable bottlenecks. Changing it later is nearly impossible. However, its current owner differs. He has rapid cultivation and a solid foundation. This is what truly astonishes it. Quickly reach the golden core. Otherwise, you're not qualified to use me. The exquisite tower chuckled. Though still somewhat discontent, the deed is done, and it ultimately acknowledged the other as its owner, merely hoping his cultivation improves to match its dignity. Right now, Jiang Fan wasn't immediately chatting with his treasures on himself. He was engrossed in the joy of ascending to 6th layer foundation establishment. Advancing to 6th layer foundation establishment meant he could engrave new life talismans. New life talismans would become one of his new trump cards. Therefore, he needed to carefully consider which talisman to engrave. Of course, choosing incorrectly didn't matter much. With each realm advancement, he could engrave a new life talisman. Other cultivators in the primordial talisman sect must carefully and prudently decide, as it's critically important. But he didn't worry. After all, he would undoubtedly become a master of 10,000 talismans. Hence, he needed to master all talismans to become an omnipotent talisman master. Thus, learning any talisman was a matter of time. Chapter 354. Chapter 205 10,000 Swords Return to the Sect Talisman. Oh, this talisman is nice. Let's inscribe the 10,000 Swords Return to the Sect Talisman. Jiang Fan carefully studied the life talismans he could inscribe and quickly found one that suited him, which was the gold talisman, 10,000 Swords Return to the Sect Talisman. This talisman can gather metal chi between heaven and earth, forming numerous flying swords. If it reaches the perfection level, it can gather tens of thousands of spiritual flying swords to simultaneously attack the enemy. Its power is comparable to any sword cultivator, and perhaps even surpassing it. In a way, it can be considered an advanced version of the Golden Light Talisman. Although he currently does not lack attack methods, who would mind having fewer trump cards? Having one more life talisman means gaining one more trump card. Boom tilde tilde. With that thought, Jiang Fan did not hesitate and immediately consumed a full 10,000 luck points. He instantly entered a state of enlightenment. Deep in the elixir field and sea of chi, the primordial talisman was continuously spinning. One by one, talisman inscriptions appeared on the surface of the sphere. No one knows how much time had passed, but when the last talisman inscription was successfully engraved, a new life talisman instantly integrated into the primordial talisman. 10,000 Swords returned to the sect talisman. Clearly, this extremely complex life talisman was finally successfully inscribed by him. Rumble tilde tilde. In an instant, the 10,000 Swords returned to the sect talisman vibrated, emitting golden light and absorbing the gold spiritual power between heaven and earth. Centered on his body, it quickly gathered golden flying swords. Each golden flying sword was condensed from spiritual power, pervading with terrifying sharpness. Even at the entry level of the 10,000 Swords returned to the sect talisman, he could simultaneously gather 10 spiritual flying swords. If he improves his skill level to the proficient level, he could gather hundreds of flying swords at once. Of course, it would take a long time to cultivate successfully. Undoubtedly, within the primordial talisman sect, not just any disciple could casually succeed in cultivating the 10,000 Swords returned to the sect talisman. The vast majority of disciples, even aware of its existence, could not inscribe it successfully. Because this talisman is really too complex. A slight misstep could lead to failure in inscribing the talisman, possibly severely damaging the primordial talisman. If Jiang Fan had not used the power of luck points, he would not dare choose this complex talisman as his new life talisman, but now everything seems worth it. Thump thump thump. Suddenly, with a thought, Jiang Fan made the golden flying swords hovering around shoot out instantly, bombarding the stone walls around the cave, easily piercing through the rock. Immediately, 10 holes appeared in the surrounding stone walls. This illustrates the power of the 10,000 Swords returned to the sect talisman, whose condensed flying swords are in no way inferior to the sword chi of sword cultivators. Boom tilde tilde. At this moment, Jiang Fan's heart moved, and he immediately opened the virtual panel on his body. Name Jiang Fan. Life chart, great blessings equal to heaven attribute, survive the disaster blessings will follow. Lifespan 1200. Spirit root, earth spirit root. Luck points 90,000. Wealth 1.4 million spirit stones. Cultivation technique, soaring snake technique, foundation establishment chapter tier 2 middle stage. Cultivation technique, mixed element talisman scripture second layer. Innate divine techniques, emperor's gaze palm wind. Life talisman, cyan lotus earth fire talisman mastery, Yin-Yang Mandarin Duck Talisman Mastery, Fortune-Telling Talisman Mastery, Soul-Shaking Talisman Mastery, Celestial Thunder Talisman Great Success, Enchantment Talisman Mastery, Perception Talisman Mastery, Earth Escape Talisman Mastery, Profound Turtle Talisman Entry Level, Ice Talisman Mastery, 10,000 Swords Return to the Sect Talisman Entry Level. Realm, 6th Layer Foundation Establishment, 1%. Profession, Tier 2 Middle Grade Talisman Master, 60%. Clearly, his current total luck points have reached 90,000. Before entering the Yiling Secret Realm, Jiang Fan had 90,000 luck points. But after experiencing 2 major tribulations, he gained quite a few luck points. However, due to refining the exquisite tower and inscribing life talismans, he also consumed a large number of luck points. Thus, overall, the consumption and gain balance out, leaving the luck points no different from before. Of course, his wealth increased, reaching 1.4 million spirit stones. So for him, maintaining the profound light concealment array is not an issue at all. With so many spirit stones, it's enough to sustain this Tier 2 array for a long time. In the blink of an eye, another month had passed. Jiang Fan stayed here cultivating, consolidating his 6th layer foundation establishment realm. At the same time, he continued to improve the skill level of the 10,000 swords returned to the sect talisman. By consuming a large number of luck points, he increased the talisman's skill level to proficient, enabling him to simultaneously gather 100 spiritual flying swords. Such power is extremely strong. If ordinary cultivators wanted to besiege him, just this talisman alone would be enough to make them suffer. If I want to continue improving the 10,000 swords returned to the sect talisman, it might not be doable in the short term. Jiang Fan's eyes flickered. After all, to reach mastery level, hundreds of spiritual flying swords need to be gathered. Such a large number of spiritual flying swords require an immense amount of spiritual power. Ordinary foundation establishment cultivators cannot possess such a vast amount of spiritual power. Even though his own spiritual power is several times that of cultivators at the same stage, reaching this level is still extremely difficult. This means that unless his cultivation is further enhanced, greatly increasing primordial spiritual power, otherwise he cannot increase the skill level of the 10,000 swords returned to the sect talisman. Chapter 355. Chapter 205 10,000 swords returned to the sect talisman /2. However, this is completely irrelevant. A skill level 10,000 swords returned to the sect talisman is more than enough for him to use. Strange, so much time has passed, yet there are still so many demons around. Not a slightest decrease. At this moment, Jiang Fan's spiritual sense spread around, perceiving an area dozens of miles in radius. Originally, he thought after a month had passed, the number of demons should have decreased. But unexpectedly, the number of demons had not decreased but increased instead. Even the demonic chi was becoming more dense. Continuing like this, as the number of demons increases, they may notice his presence too. Then he would no longer be able to survive here. And after entering the Yiling secret realm, unless half a year has passed, one cannot leave this secret realm. So any cultivator who enters the secret realm needs to prepare to stay here for half a year. What kind of demon is so terrifying? So many years have passed and it's still not dead. Even killing demons seems endless and inexhaustible. Jiang Fan's eyes flickered. He could perceive the fearsome nature of this sealed demon. If such a demon escapes the Yiling secret realm, who knows what consequences it would bring to the current cultivation realm? Surely there would be rivers of blood and countless deaths. It's uncertain whether there are any cultivators now in the cultivation realm who can seal this unparalleled demon. No wonder so many sects fell during the ancient era. Perhaps it was related to these demons. However, for now, Jiang Fan doesn't need to consider so much. After all, he's just a foundation establishment cultivator at present. Even if his strength is decent, facing such an unparalleled demon is still far away from his reach. Not to mention, merely dealing with these demons already takes all his effort. At this moment, Jiang Fan's heart stirred. Within the range of his perception, a stranger suddenly appeared in an area several kilometers in radius. Moreover, the stranger is a familiar face, Red Whale Taoist's second disciple, Fan Herong. However, Fan Herong now appears extremely miserable. His entire body is covered in wounds. Unknown to what kind of attack he encountered, he is fleeing swiftly. Unfortunately, his wounds are too severe, collapsing to the ground already unconscious. But lots of demons nearby sensed his presence and are gathering around. If no one rescues him, then Fan Herong will surely die. Wasn't it said the Foundation establishment cultivators from Red Whale Island stay together? What's the matter with Fan Herong? Why has he become like this? Jiang Fan's eyes flashed. Clearly, after entering the Yiling secret realm, Fan Herong and the others must have experienced many things. Otherwise, Fan Herong would not have become so miserable. This also reminded him of the previous fortune-telling talisman's message, urging him to be alone. If he joined Red Whale Island's team, it might lead to disaster. Now it seems this message has completely come true. Yet I don't know what happened to Fan Herong and the others. Enough is enough, save his life. Jiang Fan took a deep breath. He's not someone who meddles in others' business, but Fan Herong is at least an acquaintance. Plus, the fact he came near his vicinity before dying clearly indicates it's not meant for him to perish. More importantly, even saving him would not endanger him. It's just a casual act. Therefore, he had no reason to hesitate. Swoosh! Instantly, Jiang Fan's figure flickered, activating the power of the light body talisman, transforming himself into a flying bird, moving rapidly and immediately reached midair. He looked down at the multitude of demons on the ground. At this moment, hundreds to thousands of demons had gathered. They perceived Fan Herong's presence and converged, intending to devour this human Foundation establishment cultivator. Go die! Jiang Fan's eyes revealed a trace of coldness as he activated the 10,000 swords returned to the sect talisman deep within his elixir field and sea of chi. Rumble tilde tilde tilde. Immediately, metal elemental spiritual chi in the sky and earth converged. Under the influence of the 10,000 swords returned to the sect talisman, formed hundreds of golden spiritual flying swords, floating in midair, emanating terrifying sword chi, buzzing. At this moment, Jiang Fan seemed like an unparalleled sword cultivator, commanding hundreds of flying swords. The power of the skill level 10,000 swords returned to the sect talisman was clearly much stronger than before. With a thought, hundreds of spiritual flying swords instantly launched an attack. Boom, boom, boom. Many demons on the ground have no idea what just happened, completely caught off guard. Their heads are instantly pierced by numerous spiritual flying swords. The intense sword chi completely tears their bodies apart. Often, a single spiritual flying sword can easily pierce through several demons. With just a few passes, thousands of demons are completely slain, leaving not a trace. No wonder the 10,000 swords returned to the sect talisman is indeed a weapon of mass battle. Jiang Fan feels quite satisfied with the power of the 10,000 swords returned to the sect talisman. This talisman can target not only numerous enemies, but also individual enemies. Because so many spiritual flying swords can also be condensed into one, gathering together. Then unleash the power of 10,000 swords returned to the sect. This is the so-called 100 swords unite. Such destructive power cannot be resisted even by a late-stage Foundation establishment cultivator. Of course, this talisman requires an astonishing consumption of spiritual power. An ordinary Foundation establishment cultivator can only use it once before exhausting their inner spiritual power. Fortunately, his spiritual power is several times that of cultivators of the same stage, and still increasing. Therefore, he can activate it a dozen times, which isn't bad. Swoosh! Thinking of this, Jiang Fan's figure flickers, immediately taking the severely wounded and unconscious Fan Herong. Then he quickly returns to the original cave. After all, this place isn't suitable for staying long. Otherwise, surely more and more demons would swarm in. At that time, he might not be able to withstand them. After some treatment, Fan Herong gradually wakes up. Fellow Taoist Jiang, was it you who saved me? At this moment, Fan Herong slowly opens his eyes, and the first thing he sees is Jiang Fan. Suddenly, he feels much more at ease, as meeting an acquaintance in this unfamiliar environment is always a good thing. If he had fallen into the hands of an unfamiliar cultivator, he would definitely be doomed. That's right. I happened to come across you. But fellow Taoist Fan, weren't you with the other Foundation establishments of Red Whale Island? Why do you appear here and are so severely injured? Jiang Fan asks curiously. He can see that the wounds on Fan Herong are not caused by demons, but by other cultivators. Obviously, the other party must have been attacked by other Foundation establishment cultivators. Alas, this matter is a long story. Initially, the Foundation establishment cultivators of Red Whale Island were indeed teleported together. With so many Foundation establishment cultivators gathered together, it was quite safe. Hunting demons was smooth. We even gained many opportunities in the Yiling secret realm. Unfortunately, we were targeted by the Foundation establishment cultivators of Black Shark Island. Those bastards suddenly attacked us while we were fighting demons. As a result, several Foundation establishment honored guest elders died on the spot. Zhang Yunsheng, Miao Feng, Huang Yunqiang, 3 junior disciples also died. Only I, senior brother Cao Rui, and junior disciples Peng Dej and Lu Heijing managed to escape. But facing the pursuit from the Foundation establishments of Black Shark Island, we could only scatter and flee. In the end, due to severe injuries, I couldn't hold on and fell unconscious. Luckily, I encountered fellow Taoist Jiang, otherwise I would have been dead for sure. Fan Herong sighs, feeling quite helpless. Originally, during the 1 or 2 months of entering the Yiling secret realm, their group was progressing quite smoothly. Gained many opportunities. In the future, they might have a chance to advance to Foundation establishment perfection and attempt breakthrough to the Golden Core. But the dream came to an abrupt end. The enemy in this secret realm world was not just those demons. There were also those ill-intentioned Foundation establishment cultivators. Those bastards are insatiably greedy, coveting the opportunities of other cultivators. So they brazenly attacked and killed. This also resulted in heavy casualties for them this time. I see. Hearing this, Jiang Fan nods, understanding the sequence of events. It seems that his decision to fight alone was correct. If he had really joined the Foundation establishment team of Red Whale Island, he might have met the same fate. Even though they are numerous, they are equally being targeted by some ill-intentioned people. On the contrary, although he is solitary, he conceals his whereabouts and remains undiscovered. This allowed him to avoid many calamities. Chapter 356, Chapter 206, once again seeking fortune and avoiding evil, striking first. Boom tilde tilde. At this moment, Jiang Fan sensed the fortune-telling talisman deep within his elixir field and sea of qi beginning to vibrate. A wave of information instantly surged into the depths of his consciousness. When the city gates catch fire, it brings disaster to the fish pond. Handle carefully, for fortune and misfortune are interdependent. Immediately head 300 miles southwest to Bear Head Mountain. Act when the opportunity arises. Strike a blow while they're down. Great fortune. Stay where you are. Care for Fan Herong. Face an attack and killing from Black Shark Island's Foundation establishment, bringing disaster to the fish pond. Great misfortune. Abandon Fan Herong. Leave the area. Face pursuit. Minor misfortune. What? Upon sensing this information, Jiang Fan's eyes flashed with brilliance. Clearly, this was also a critical moment of destiny choice. If the wrong choice was made, it would lead to a series of calamities, culminating in a deadly tribulation. According to the guidance of the fortune-telling talisman, it appeared that by saving Fan Herong, he had instead invited disaster. There was no doubt that Fan Herong had long been targeted by that group of Foundation establishment cultivators from Black Shark Island and had even left tracking traces on himself. If he continued to stay with Fan Herong, misfortune would surely befall him. This was the calamity brought to the fish pond. Even abandoning Fan Herong and fleeing alone would be futile. That group of Foundation establishment cultivators from Black Shark Island would likely pursue him relentlessly. But the heavens never block all paths. He was not without means to deal with this sudden tribulation. According to the message from the fortune-telling talisman, he couldn't run away or do nothing. The best option was to intercept that group of Foundation establishment cultivators from Black Shark Island midway, ambush them, and strike a blow while they're down. If that group of Foundation establishment cultivators from Black Shark Island died, then all disasters would instantly dissipate. After all, the disaster itself was brought by that group from Black Shark Island. In other words, there's only this one opportunity to strike. If this opportunity is missed, what follows will be a relentless pursuit by Black Shark Island's Foundation establishment. In this situation, it's either their death or my own. Jiang Fan's eyes flickered. Clearly, he no longer had a second choice. Moreover, this action also held considerable benefits for him. If he could intercept and kill that group of Foundation establishment cultivators from Black Death Island, he undoubtedly would gain numerous opportunities. This was what one might call a thief profiting off another thief. With this thought, Jiang Fan looked at Fan Herong and said, "Fellow Taoist Fan, if I'm not mistaken, your troubles aren't over yet, right?" Upon hearing this, Fan Herong's expression became uncertain. He never expected that his troubles would be seen through by his counterpart. He sighed helplessly and said, "Fellow Taoist Jiang, I'm really sorry. I do indeed carry a tracking curse technique from a Foundation establishment cultivator on Black Death Island. I've only narrowly avoided their pursuit so far. If they manage to regroup, that group of Black Death Island's Foundation establishment cultivators might pursue again. I did not intentionally deceive you, fellow Taoist Jiang, I've just yet to mention it." Clearly, if Jiang Fan hadn't asked, he probably would not have spoken up. After all, right now Fan Herong was gravely injured. He was rescued by Jiang Fan with difficulty, and naturally did not wish to die. If Jiang Fan had known there was a huge trouble with him, he probably would have fled long ago. So of course, he wouldn't foolishly reveal it. Unfortunately, even if he didn't say anything, Jiang Fan had already noticed it. He had no choice but to admit it. Thud. At this moment, Jiang Fan lightly delivered a karate chop to the back of Fan Herong's head. Immediately, Fan Herong lost consciousness completely without a chance to react. He wasted no words on the matter. Since the opponent was a significant trouble, he naturally wasn't going to carry the trouble on his own back. Saving someone was already going above and beyond kindness. He wouldn't foolishly become the other party's babysitter. Although indeed it's a hassle, if handled properly, it could also be a great opportunity. This is what they call fortune and misfortune being interdependent. Jiang Fan's eyes flashed. He immediately put away the array plate of the profound light concealment array. This place was no longer suitable for his seclusion and cultivation. It was better to go somewhere else. As for Fan Herong, he planned to leave him in this cave. He believed that the other party staying here wouldn't be too problematic. Once that group of pursuers from Black Death Island's Foundation establishment was dealt with, any disaster would be solved one way or another. Whoosh! Thinking of this, Jiang Fan's figure flashed and quickly departed from the place. He invoked the power of the light body talisman, advancing rapidly in the southwest direction. In a short time, he arrived at Bear Head Mountain, as indicated by the fortune-telling talisman. This was a towering mountain, its shape resembling a black bear. It was at least several thousand meters high. A pitch-black air hovered around. The area was saturated with dense demonic qi. At this moment, there were over a dozen Foundation establishment cultivators near the mountain. They were besieged by a horde of demons. Such bad luck encountering so many demons. It's all because of that Fan Herong from Red Whale Island. If it weren't for that guy, we wouldn't be besieged by so many demons. A Foundation establishment cultivator gritted his teeth. Originally, they were pursuing Fan Herong. But then Fan Herong suddenly used a secret technique to escape rapidly from the spot. As fate would have it, they stumbled upon a demon uprising. As a result, they became heavily surrounded by the demons. If they had not possessed some skill, they might have already been killed by these demons. Chapter 357, Chapter 206, Seeking Fortune and Avoiding Evil Again, strike first to gain the upper hand /2. Don't worry, that guy won't get away. The other party has been hit by my curse tracking technique, like an incurable disease. Even if he runs to the ends of the earth, it will be of no avail. Let's first let that guy run a little further, preferably join up with other Foundation establishment cultivators from Red Whale Island. Then we can take the opportunity to wipe them out in one fell swoop. Another Foundation establishment cultivator from Black Shark Island sneered. That's his style of doing things. He wouldn't act until he does, but once he does, it's to annihilate, slaughter entire clans. If the enemies aren't killed cleanly, won't they have an opportunity for revenge later? To prevent these occurrences, he leaves no room for retaliation against any enemy. You're absolutely right. These Red Whale Island Foundation establishment cultivators are quite loaded. After killing a batch, I never expected to acquire so many treasures. Hopefully, continuing the hunt will surely make us rich again. But in doing so, we might completely offend Red Whale Island. Rumor has it that Red Whale Island has added a golden core, and their power has significantly increased compared to before. Don't we have a golden core on Black Shark Island? Even if that means they have one more golden core, so what? We do have our backing. You're right. Since entering the Yiling secret realm, life and death are determined by fate. Over the years, that has been the rule here. If they wish to retaliate, let them try. Enough idle chatter. Let's completely deal with the demons here before speaking further. The many Foundation establishment cultivators of Black Shark Island discussed animatedly. At this moment, Jiang Fan, who was staying afar, through the power of the perception talisman, sensed every action of this group of Foundation establishment cultivators from Black Shark Island and understood their discussions. They're truly no good characters. Jiang Fan's eyes gleamed. He saw through the power of Emperor's gaze that these Black Shark Island Foundation establishment cultivators carried massive black and blood chi, obviously ruthless, murderous, and vengeful figures. Aside from not cultivating a demonic cultivation technique, they are really not much different from demon cultivators. No wonder the fortune-telling talisman previously hinted that he should not join Black Shark Island. If joined, disaster would surely follow. It's likely not only representing being caught up in war, but also facing exclusion from peers. It's estimated that internal conflicts on Black Shark Island are intense. Frequently, there might be instances of colleagues turning on each other. According to the words of these Foundation establishment cultivators, even if he doesn't seek them out, they would proactively come looking for him. Inevitable trouble. Only by preemptively dealing with this group can he dispel the slaughter calamity and prevent problems before they occur. However, solving this group is not a simple matter. This group from Black Shark Island consists of 15 people. 5 are in late-stage Foundation establishment, 7 in mid-stage, and the rest are in early-stage Foundation establishment. If they unite, it's definitely enough to cause him a headache. After all, 2 fists can't defeat 4 hands. A little carelessness might lead to overturning in sewer. Wait and watch, then hit when they're down. Could they encounter calamity? At this moment, Jiang Fan recalled the message from the fortune-telling talisman, suggesting he quickly arrive here to strike when they're down, meaning this group might face big troubles next. He might have an opportunity to strike afterwards. With this thought, he calmed down and started to wait for the right moment. Rumble tilde tilde tilde. Just then, the group of Foundation establishment cultivators from Black Shark Island showcased their techniques, deploying various talismans and spiritual artifacts, displaying vast combat experience, leaving the surrounding demons completely outmatched. Within just a dozen minutes, numerous demons were slaughtered to extinction. These Foundation establishment cultivators were grinning, thinking that dealing with these demons was just a matter of time. But at that moment, the ground began to tremble, and cracks appeared all around. Then, from deep within these ground fissures, flew out numerous red demons, their bodies bedecked with densely packed twisted runes, seemingly brimming with destructive aura. Master, be careful, these are explosive demons. They would rather perish together with their enemies at any moment. And the power of their explosion is incomparable. During ancient times, these demons caused vast casualties to human cultivators. At this time, the demon vibrating bell seriously reminded, instantly recognizing the origin of these red demons. They are explosive demons, also known as suicide demons. Countless cultivators are troubled by encountering them. Because the enemy could perish together at any moment, they're nearly impossible to deal with. Dong dong dong. In an instant, the moment these red demons appeared, they charged towards the group of Foundation establishment cultivators. The entire body gleamed with crimson light, seemingly containing a black furnace deep within, releasing vast energy aura. Then these red demons immediately self-destructed, their bodies erupting with terrifying waves, sweeping all directions, comparable to the full-force attack of Foundation establishment cultivators. Damn it, how could we encounter such demons? The faces of the many Foundation establishment cultivators from Black Shark Island changed drastically. They never expected their luck to be so terrible, encountering the extremely rare explosive demons. One by one, they activated their defensive spiritual artifact, attempting to withstand the wild suicide attacks of these explosive demons. Their bodies were immediately enveloped by spiritual energy shields. Unfortunately, they underestimated the power of these demons' self-destruction. A powerful shock wave surged, bombarding these Foundation establishment cultivators. Suddenly, 7 or 8 Foundation establishment cultivators were blown to pieces, their spiritual energy shields unable to withstand, turning into a mass of flesh with no opportunity to scream. The remaining 6 or 7 Foundation establishment cultivators could withstand it, but their spiritual energy shields shattered, their bodies suffering severe injuries, bleeding heavily. Nonetheless, they survived. Each was panting, filled with lingering fear. At this moment, the land across tens of kilometers was swept clean by this force. Also, such self-destruction is indiscriminate attack. So nearby demons were also bombed to death, none could survive. The land was pocked, stones scattered, appearing extremely tragic. So that's the calamity they encountered. Seeing this scene, Jiang Fan's eyes flashed with brilliance. Evidently, the message from the fortune-telling talisman has come true. This group of Foundation establishment cultivators from Black Shark Island indeed has good strength, but faced the explosive demons and suffered the killing power of their self-destruction, leading to heavy casualties. Of course, such calamity cannot eliminate them all, but their numbers were halved. Yet even so, the remaining Foundation establishment cultivators would still bring great trouble to Jiang Fan and Fan Herong. If they let their injuries recover completely, they probably won't have much chance. Instead now, while they are heavily injured, while their internal spiritual power is nearly depleted, striking when they're down, beating a drowning dog, presents the best opportunity. If not now, he'd surely suffer significant losses, even possibly getting counterkilled by the enemy. Master, now is a golden chance. These guys are excessively unlucky, attacked by those demons. While they're sick, end their life. At this moment, the 10,000 transformations pill furnace excitedly shouted. It felt its master's luck was off the charts. Unexpectedly encountering the enemy's bad luck and encountering great calamity. If not seizing this moment to strike when they're down, when else would he? Undoubtedly, if this group of Foundation establishment cultivators from Black Shark Island were in perfect condition, they would certainly siege his master. So believes there's no need to be polite. Jiang Fan nodded. He obviously saw that now is the best chance to act. With this thought, he activated the primordial talisman of the elixir field and sea of qi, pouring vast primordial spiritual power into the demon vibrating bell. Instantly, mysterious runes densely on the demon vibrating bell shone brightly. It seemed dark golden light emanated from its body. It immediately flew from Jiang Fan's body, floating in midair. Then it continuously shook, invoking mysterious forces between heaven and earth. A terrifying power of sound waves burst forth from it, surging towards the group of Foundation establishment cultivators from Black Shark Island. Chapter 358, Chapter 207, Obtaining 6th Grade Opportunity, Tier 3 Bear King's Profound Gall. At the same time, the Foundation establishment cultivators from Black Shark Island were panting heavily. Each of them wore an expression of lingering fear, looking as if they had narrowly escaped death. But seeing that the surrounding demons had all perished, they couldn't help but feel relieved. Damn it, why are there so many explosive demons here? It's truly the height of misfortune to encounter these demons. Losing so many companions at once, the loss is indeed too severe. It's all that damn Fan Herong from Red Whale Island's fault. If it weren't for that bastard, we wouldn't have been so unlucky. If we find that bastard, we'll tear him to pieces. The remaining Foundation establishment cultivators from Black Shark Island gritted their teeth in anger. They vented their anger on Fan Herong. If it weren't for him, they wouldn't have been so unlucky, encountering so many demons and then the explosive demon. If they could find Fan Herong's whereabouts again, they definitely wouldn't let him die a quick death. Even those cultivators from Red Whale Island, if they saw one, they'd kill one. In short, any cultivators related to the forces of Red Whale Island must die here, not a single one left alive. But just at this moment, this group of Foundation establishment cultivators from Black Shark Island seemed to have sensed something. Their expressions changed. Damn, someone is ambushing us. Foundation establishment cultivator shouted. At this moment, he could sense a terrifying fluctuation of spiritual power coming from afar. Clearly, this was from the power of sound waves, from the demon vibrating bell. Under the crushing force of these sound waves, the surrounding air solidified, transforming into visible ripples. Originally, they had already exhausted all their spiritual power to deal with the explosive demon. One could say that they never expected to be ambushed at this moment. It totally caught them off guard. Undoubtedly, they were completely unable to react, having the disadvantage of being caught unawares. Boom tilde tilde tilde. Suddenly, this strong power of sound waves struck the Foundation establishment cultivators, and their bodies, like watermelons, couldn't withstand the destructive force and were instantly shattered into pieces. They couldn't even last a second and were violently killed. The ground was also swept by the power of the demon vibrating bell, leaving a massive deep crater. Dust billowed and soil splattered. This group of Foundation establishment cultivators from Black Shark Island was wiped out in an instant, without the least bit of resistance. Not bad. Seeing this scene, Jiang Fan felt very satisfied. Under normal circumstances, it would have been almost impossible for him to deal with so many Foundation establishment cultivators. Even if this group of Foundation establishment cultivators had any trump cards, he might have ended up in big trouble. But now, the opposition had encountered a disaster and consumed a lot of spiritual power. He took the opportunity to strike while the iron was hot and attacked mercilessly during their weakest moment. As a result, he easily annihilated the group of Foundation establishment cultivators from Black Shark Island. It could be said that he seized the best opportunity. If he had missed this opportunity, he probably wouldn't be able to wipe out this group of Foundation establishment cultivators. He might even have been hunted by these Foundation establishment cultivators, thus putting himself into huge trouble. Hey, a bunch of pests. With such little strength, you think you can scheme against others. You're simply courting death. The 10,000 transformations pill furnace sneered with disdain. It also felt quite emotion-filled inside. To be honest, it hadn't expected its master to solve the group of enemies so easily. It was almost as if they had received help from the heavens. Its master only needed to give a slight push, and they ended up exterminating the group of Foundation establishment cultivators from Black Shark Island. Dong. At this moment, Jiang Fan sensed a surge of information entering the depths of his sea of consciousness. You took the initiative to strike, taking advantage of the enemy's crisis, dealing a blow to extinguish the disaster in its cradle, narrowly escaping a life-and-death calamity. You have gained 50,000 luck points and a 6th grade opportunity. What? Upon sensing this information, Jiang Fan's eyes lit up instantly. Although he knew that solving these enemies would bring significant rewards, he never imagined gaining a full 50,000 luck points, a number he had never achieved before. Evidently, these Foundation establishment cultivators from Black Shark Island indeed possessed considerable destiny. But after he eliminated them, their destiny was also devoured by him, becoming his nourishment. That's why he received so many luck points. Besides the 50,000 luck points, he also received a 6th grade opportunity. This was a significant gain. After all, a 6th grade opportunity is akin to a golden core level opportunity, not something one can easily obtain. Boom tilde tilde. Just as Jiang Fan wanted to know more about the 6th grade opportunity, suddenly, a mysterious force emerged, causing the storage bags of the Foundation establishment cultivators on the ground to vanish completely. It was as if some kind of void power had teleported them away. What's going on? Which bastard stole my treasures? Seeing this, Jiang Fan was suddenly stunned. Originally, he wanted to loot the storage bags from these Foundation establishment cultivators, knowing they must contain numerous treasures. But who could have expected? Before he even started searching these storage bags, they had already been stolen by some force. Don't worry, I won't steal your treasures. As compensation, you can obtain another treasure. At this moment, a voice suddenly transmitted into Jiang Fan's sea of consciousness. Who are you? Upon hearing the voice, Jiang Fan's eyes flickered, instantly becoming alert. Chapter 359, Chapter 207, Obtaining 6th grade opportunity, Tier 3 Bear King's Profound Gall /2. However, the fortune-telling talisman did not provide any warnings of danger. Evidently, this sudden incident might be a good thing for him. Moreover, he already had some guesses about the owner of this voice. The only one capable of doing this, openly, must be the array spirit of the Yiling secret realm. I am the array spirit of the secret realm. You can call me Burial. The voice explained. Burial? Jiang Fan didn't expect the array spirit of the secret realm world to take the initiative to speak to him, even revealing its identity. Over the years in the Yiling secret realm, such occurrences must be very rare. Otherwise, the existence of the array spirit would have been exposed long ago. It wouldn't be that even now, few cultivators discuss it. The reason I revealed myself is because you are quite special. You have obtained the inheritance from the ancient sect Primordial Talisman sect and have some connection with this secret realm. At the same time, you have eliminated many demons, accumulating sufficient contribution points. Therefore, according to the rules, you can also receive a hidden reward. The array spirit burial said in a deep voice. I see. Jiang Fan nodded. He knew that his 6th grade opportunity evidently came from the gift of the array spirit of this secret realm world. He was very curious about what kind of treasure could be worthy of being called a 6th grade opportunity. Boom tilde tilde. At this moment, a ripple appeared in the surrounding void. The next second, a black wooden box and a dark gold token appeared before Jiang Fan. What is this? Jiang Fan curiously accepted these 2 treasures. He opened the black wooden box and saw inside a fist-sized gall, bright red, covered with dense mysterious runes, containing enigmatic power. Even though it had been extracted, who knows how many years ago, it was still pulsing vigorously. Inside contained strong life force, mysterious and immeasurable. It also emitted a medicinal fragrance. It seemed to stir the chi and blood power within him, causing his blood and energy to surge. Every cell in his body seemed to express a longing, wanting to devour the bear gall immediately. This is a Tier 3 Bear King's profound gall. It comes from the gall of a Tier 3 Earth Demon Bear. It contains a large amount of life essence of a Tier 3 Demon Beast, abundant in spiritual chi and blood chi. If consumed, it can greatly enhance a human's blood energy and physique. It's considered a good body-tempering spiritual object. If I'm not mistaken, you also practice a body cultivation technique, possessing a strong physique. Such a spiritual object for you should be considered a worthwhile treasure. The array spirit burial said in a deep voice. It was very selective in the treasures it bestowed. Ordinary treasures might not catch the eye of this young man in front of it. However, this body-tempering spiritual object was quite rare. After all, if the Tier 3 Bear King's profound gall were outside, its value would be immeasurable. Even Golden Core Realm body cultivators would go crazy for it, let alone Foundation Establishment cultivators. To some extent, the value of the treasures it bestowed exceeded the others' contribution points. However, it was optimistic about this young man's future. So it used some privileges to grant this treasure, hoping the recipient could grow quickly. Tier 3 Bear King's profound gall. Jiang Fan's eyes lit up immediately, feeling excited. This was indeed one of the body-tempering spirit medicines. Invaluable, especially for him who practiced the soaring snake technique. It was worth a fortune. Originally, his practice of the soaring snake technique had reached the Tier 2 middle stage level. The distance to Tier 2 late stage was indeed quite far. Without external assistance, it would probably take decades to advance. Of course, for a normal Tier 2 body cultivator, this was a normal cultivation timeframe. Furthermore, his lifespan was already extraordinary, comparable to a demon beast. Decades of cultivation time were insignificant. However, even so, if he could shorten the time for practicing the soaring snake technique and stabilize his foundation, why not do it? Evidently, the Tier 3 Bear King's profound gall was such a precious treasure. Also, this token is the Yiling token. Only cultivators recognized by the secret realm can obtain this token. Once refined, you can enter the Yiling secret realm once a year to acquire treasures. Unlike other cultivators who must wait 100 years. In the past, Taoist Yiling received this token, allowing him to quickly promote to the nascent soul stage. Unfortunately, his opportunities weren't enough. He stopped at nascent soul, unable to become divinity transformation. The array spirit burial continued to introduce the second treasure, the Yiling token. As it spoke of Taoist Yiling of the past, it expressed a bit of regret. If the other had become a divinity transformation cultivator, perhaps its stress would have reduced greatly. This, Jiang Fan was taken aback. He hadn't expected something like the Yiling token. Knowing the countless treasures within the Yiling secret realm, if he could freely enter and exit, who knows what benefits he could gain. He could leverage the resources within the secret realm world to rise quickly. In those days, the greatest secret to Taoist Yiling's rise stemmed from this. But he remained cautious, asking in a deep voice, if I refine this token, what would I need to give in return? He knew there was no free lunch in the world. The opponent giving such benefits must be expecting repayment. There is no love without reason in this world. My request is simple. When your cultivation reaches a certain level, help me deal with the demon sealed here. For all these years, the Yiling secret realm has been looking for a suitable successor. Unfortunately, to this day, no one has managed this. The array spirit burial spoke with helplessness. Resolving the demon sealed here was its greatest wish. Unfortunately, over the years, it had cultivated many geniuses, but none succeeded. At most, it led to the hunting of demons within the secret realm, weakening part of the demon's power. But even so, it would not give up until this unparalleled demon was ultimately resolved. What kind of strength is needed to deal with this demon? Jiang Fan asked cautiously. At the very least, it would require divinity transformation. The array spirit burial said matter-of-factly. Upon hearing this, Jiang Fan was at a loss for words, merely being a small foundation establishment cultivator himself. The distance to the divinity transformation realm was unimaginable. Even with exceptional luck and numerous opportunities, he couldn't guarantee becoming divinity transformation. At best, it increased the odds a little. Of course, it doesn't mean you must become divinity transformation. This is merely an investment. Over countless years, I have invested in many geniuses. Some succeeded, but most failed. As long as one succeeds, it is enough. So you needn't feel too pressured. The array spirit burial explained. All right. If I refine this token, does it mean I can leave the Yiling secret realm now? Jiang Fan was moved and asked. That's right, other cultivators need to wait half a year's time. But one who has refined the token can enter and exit at will. Once you activate the token's power, it will transport you out. Array spirit burial explained. I see. Jiang Fan nodded, admitting the Yiling secret realm token held immense benefits for him. Once refined, it provided a retreat, allowing him to leave at any time. This way, even if facing danger, he could swiftly escape, preemptively averting it. Admittedly, this sixth-grade opportunity was remarkable. It was like having his greatest hidden threat resolved. He also gained the Tier 3 Bear King's profound gall. If he fully refined this body-tempering spiritual object, his soaring snake technique could make further breakthroughs, elevating his body cultivation realm to Tier 2 late stage. By then, his combat power and lifespan would greatly increase. Chapter 360, Chapter 208, Breakthrough in Soaring Snake Technique, Lifespan 2000. One day later, Jiang Fan found a hidden cave on this island, and then set up the profound light concealment array to temporarily hide and avoid the harassment of the surrounding demons. Ever since he was given the token and the Tier 3 Bear King's profound gall, the array spirit burial had disappeared without a trace, never speaking to him again. But he didn't mind. After all, the most important thing for him now was to refine this Bear King's profound gall. If successful, his soaring snake technique would definitely achieve a huge breakthrough. This was the crucial thing. Everything else had to take a back seat. Boom tilde tilde. At this time, Jiang Fan put the Bear King's profound gall into the 10,000 transformations pill furnace, then activated this ancient treasure to swiftly refine the Tier 3 Bear King's profound gall into drops of crimson liquid medicine. Normally, this Bear King's profound gall required a special method of consumption, in combination with a series of spirit medicines, to fully activate its medicinal power and achieve the best effect. But with the 10,000 transformations pill furnace, there was no need for such trouble. It could refine the bear gall, expelling all impurities, leaving only the most essential medicinal liquid. This also saved a lot of time and effort. Rumble tilde tilde. Thinking of this, Jiang Fan did not hesitate and swallowed a drop of the crimson medicine. The moment it entered his body, the medicinal power exploded like molten lava, flowing everywhere in his body and rapidly spreading throughout, enveloping his entire body in a scorching hot stream. The muscles, bones, meridians, and internal organs in his body were rapidly strengthened. The medicinal power is too strong. Jiang Fan was amazed. Although he had long known the powerful medicinal power of this Tier 3 Bear King's profound gall, containing immense blood and energy, he still underestimated it when he actually consumed it. After all, it was the essence of a Tier 3 demon beast. Its immense blood and energy were incomparable to ordinary foundation establishment cultivators. In fact, It was meant for Tier 3 body cultivators. If a Tier 2 body cultivator consumed it, they wouldn't be able to withstand the violent medicinal power, and might even explode and die. However, he was not an ordinary Tier 2 body cultivator. He was a body cultivator who practiced the soaring snake technique. His physique was far stronger than typical Tier 2 body cultivators. Moreover, this was just one drop of the medicinal liquid and was completely within his capacity to bear. He could feel the amazing effects of the Bear King's profound gall. For a body cultivator, it was definitely invaluable. If it were outside, even if one had money, they might not be able to buy it. After all, killing a Tier 3 demon beast was not an easy task. A careless golden core Zhenren might also fall in. To advance to the late stage of Tier 2 realm, it is necessary to continuously inscribe soaring snake talismans on the skin. A total of 666 soaring snake talismans need to be inscribed to be completely successful. Jiang Fan sat cross-legged on the ground. He operated the soaring snake technique, allowing the spiritual power within him to permeate his skin, inscribing one soaring snake talisman after another. With each inscribed soaring snake talisman, the body would suffer damage. If relying on the body's self-healing ability, it would take a long time to recover. But with the help of the Tier 3 Bear King's profound gall, the self-healing ability would greatly increase. As a result, the speed of inscribing the soaring snake talismans would become faster and faster. This was also why his cultivation of the soaring snake technique had been very slow. Without the assistance of body-tempering spirit medicine, the cultivation speed of a body cultivator is actually very low. It couldn't match pure chi refiners. But with external assistance, the advancement speed of a body cultivator could be very fast. In the blink of an eye, 3 to 4 months passed swiftly. Jiang Fan stayed in this cave, cultivating. From time to time, he would consume a drop of Bear King's profound gall liquid, temper his physique, and inscribe soaring snake talismans. When the medicinal power was completely digested, he would take another drop of Bear King's profound gall liquid. 1 soaring snake talisman, 10 soaring snake talismans, 100 soaring snake talismans, 200 soaring snake talismans. Now the soaring snake talismans on his skin had reached 665. Just one talisman away from reaching the perfection level of Tier 2 middle stage. By then he could strive for the late stage of Tier 2 realm, which is a qualitative change. But for Jiang Fan, it was a natural progression without any particular feeling. His mind was very calm. Rumble tilde tilde. In an instant, the last soaring snake talisman was inscribed on his skin. All 666 soaring snake talismans illuminated, seemingly forming a peculiar array covering every inch of his skin. No, it wasn't just covering his skin, but every corner of his body as well. With the operation of this array, strands of mysterious energy were drawn from the depths of the void, infused into his body, filling every part of his being. At this moment, the internal organs, every muscle, every bone, and every inch of skin were tempered and baptized by the mysterious energy, visibly strengthening the body. Late stage Tier 2. Without a doubt, his body cultivation realm effortlessly advanced to the late stage of Tier 2. The strength and speed of his body dramatically surged. So powerful. Jiang Fan marveled internally at the changes within his body. Chapter 361. Chapter 208. Breakthrough in Soaring Snake Technique, Lifespan 2000/2. Although he didn't know what these mysterious energies were, he knew that the benefits to the human body were immense. Perhaps the divine beast's powerful physiques owed much to the refinement by these mysterious energies. It was precisely these mysterious energies that helped him break the human limits and obtain a physique and lifespan akin to those of divine beasts. He felt that his physique was overwhelmingly strong now. Even a light punch could explode a late-stage Tier 2 demon beast. This feeling was like having a divine beast cub residing within his body. Endless strength surged from him, never tiring. Meanwhile, his exuberant blood and energy were burning intensely. It seemed that every drop of blood contained immense heat, enough to annihilate numerous demons. Ordinary ghosts approaching him would be incinerated by the mere heat naturally emitted from his body. The power of the bloodline divine power palm wind has grown even stronger. Jiang Fan focused his thoughts. As the concentration of soaring snake bloodline within his body increased, he sensed that his control over the wind became stronger and his perception keener. It seemed like he could easily manipulate the airflow around him. With just a thought, the surrounding airflow could move according to his will. Numerous air currents would envelop him, winding and twisting. It was as if countless air currents encased him, like stars surrounding the moon. This was truly the child of wind, favored by the power of the wind. As expected of the Tier 3 Bear King's profound gall, the medicinal power is astounding. I only consumed half, yet it allowed me to advance to the late-stage Tier 2. Jiang Fan was amazed. Although he had cultivated hard for 4 months, he hadn't consumed all of the Bear King's profound gall. He only ate half of it. This was quite normal. After all, such a massive essence from a Tier 3 demon beast can't be digested quickly. Without a doubt, the remaining Bear King's profound gall was more than enough to help him advance further in the soaring snake technique. The best outcome would be to reach the Tier 2 perfection level. If successful, it might allow his body cultivation realm to break through to Tier 3 ahead of time. If so, the power of his physique alone might rival a golden core genre. However, for him, this cultivation technique wasn't about increasing combat power. The most important aspect was extending his lifespan, helping him break the lifespan limit of human cultivators. Boom tilde tilde. Thinking of this, Jiang Fan activated the virtual panel on himself. Name Jiang Fan. Life chart, great blessings equal to heaven, attribute, great calamity survivor must have future luck. Lifespan 2000. Spirit root, earth spirit root. Luck points, 110,000. Wealth, 1,400,000 spirit stones. Cultivation technique, soaring snake technique, foundation establishment chapter Tier 2 late stay. Cultivation technique, mixed element talisman scripture, second layer. Innate divine techniques, emperor's gaze, palm wind. Life talisman, cyan lotus earth fire talisman mastery, yin yang mandarin duck talisman mastery, fortune-telling talisman mastery, soul-shaking talisman mastery, celestial thunder talisman perfection, enchantment talisman mastery, perception talisman mastery, earth escape talisman mastery, profound turtle talisman beginner, ice talisman mastery, 10,000 swords return to the sect talisman beginner. Realm, 6th layer foundation establishment, 40%. Profession, Tier 2 middle grade talisman master, 80%. Noticing the series of data above, Jiang Fan's eyes brightened with joy. 2,000 years of lifespan. Compared to before, this had increased by a full 800 years. Although he knew lifespan would surely increase significantly after reaching the late-stage Tier 2, he never expected it to rise this much. Such a long lifespan, even a nascent soul cultivator couldn't compare to him. Perhaps only a divinity transformation cultivator could surpass him. After all, it's said that divinity transformation cultivators possess a lifespan of 3,000 years, an extraordinary length. Yet even a 2,000-year lifespan is incredibly long. One wouldn't know how many dynasties could come and go. Suffice to say, the mysteries contained in the soaring snake technique are truly mind-boggling. This is undoubtedly one of the rarest top-tier cultivation techniques in the world. Luckily, he obtained this cultivation technique. Otherwise, how could he raise his lifespan to such an extent? Only 11,000 luck points left. Jiang Fan stroked his chin. After killing those foundation establishment cultivators from Black Shark Island, he gained 50,000 luck points, skyrocketing his total to 140,000. But after 4 months, he consumed a large number of luck points to cultivate the soaring snake technique. Without the aid of luck points, cultivating the soaring snake technique wouldn't have been so smooth. Just comprehending the soaring serpent rune alone would have taken an incredibly long time. The rapid progress in his soaring snake technique was not only due to the Tier 3 Bear King's profound gall, but also the indispensable support of luck points. But it was all worth it. The celestial thunder talisman has also been cultivated to perfection level. Jiang Fan sensed that he had maximized the skill level of his celestial thunder talisman. It could not be improved further, marking his first life talisman to reach perfection level since advancing to foundation establishment. Now, once the celestial thunder talisman is activated, he could summon 49 strikes of celestial thunder. The destructive power has far exceeded the past. The rapid increase in celestial thunder talisman skill level was naturally due to the environment. While cultivating here, he frequently encountered a large number of demons. This made it necessary to use the power of the celestial thunder talisman. Over time, even without consuming luck points, the Celestial Thunder Talisman's skill level continued to rise. Now, the Celestial Thunder Talisman's skill level naturally reached perfection level. Whenever he encountered demons, Jiang Fan could instantly gather 49 strikes of Celestial Thunder, obliterating any number of demons, leading to the near extinction of demons in the area. Not many demons dared approach this area. This also made Jiang Fan's environment incredibly safe. He no longer needed to worry about demon attacks. It's a pity wealth is still a little over 1,000,000 spirit stones. If I had obtained those Foundation Establishment cultivators, storage bags, my wealth would have surely soared. Jiang Fan recalled slaying the Foundation Establishment cultivators from Black Shark Island. Their storage bags were snatched away by the array spirit of the Yiling Secret Realm, all falling into its hands. Without a doubt, despite many years, treasures in the Yiling Secret Realm still continuously emerge. It seemed like treasures never cease here. Normally, over time, treasures should diminish. Yet the Yiling Secret Realm had no such issue. Apparently, part of the treasures inside the Yiling Secret Realm possibly originates from many human cultivators. After these cultivators perish, their storage bags remain within the Secret Realm world. In this way, a bulk of treasures is gained by the array spirit of the Yiling Secret Realm, and these treasures become opportunities given to the next cultivators entering the realm. Over time, instead of decreasing, the treasures in the Yiling Secret Realm keep growing. This is why each time the Yiling Secret Realm opens, it attracts many cultivators. For loose cultivators, it undoubtedly offers further advancement opportunities. They certainly won't miss it. Never mind, never mind. Even if I got those Foundation Establishment cultivators, storage bags, I probably wouldn't get too many precious treasures. The Tier 3 Bear King's Profound Gall is better. Jiang Fan considered and still felt that the treasure bestowed by the array spirit of the Yiling Secret Realm was better, guessing those Foundation Establishment cultivators. Treasures wouldn't have been many rare items, mostly just some spirit stones and spirit medicine. Nothing compared to the Tier 3 Bear King's Profound Gall. Such treasures may not be purchasable even with money. As for spirit stones, if he desired, he could still acquire a lot. Hence, such rare treasures are preferred. Rumble tilde. At this moment, the entire Yiling Secret Realm began to tremble, buzzing, affecting every region. Is the half-year term up, and we need to leave the Yiling Secret Realm? Jiang Fan realized what was happening. Undoubtedly, he had been in this Secret Realm world for a full 6 months. This was the final time limit for the emergence of the Yiling Secret Realm. Once time is up, all cultivators are expelled. Chapter 362, Chapter 209, Nascent Soul Spiritual Object, the Great Calamity arrives. Boom tilde tilde. In an instant, a force of space enveloped Jiang Fan's entire body. Before he could react, this force immediately transported him away. The next second, Jiang Fan found himself leaving the Yiling Secret Realm and returning to the ocean. And it wasn't just him. Almost all the cultivators that survived in the Yiling Secret Realm were transported out by this power. However, the location to which each cultivator was sent was different. All were random. Finally out of the Yiling Secret Realm. The demons inside seemed endless, really terrifying. Aren't they? If we had stayed inside any longer, we would surely be dead. But no matter what, we have all gained tremendously this time. We've hit the jackpot. But it's a pity. The next time the Yiling Secret Realm opens will be in 100 years. Haha, those cultivators who missed the opening of the realm must be regretting it terribly. Many cultivators discussed, each overjoyed to the extreme. Basically, there were 0 negative reviews. After all, those who wanted to give negative reviews were already perished inside the Secret Realm world. Those who survived the Secret Realm world received praise overwhelmingly, because they indeed obtained tremendous gains. Some cultivators became rich overnight. If not for the Yiling Secret Realm, they might never have had such an opportunity in their lifetime. Whoosh! However, Jiang Fan paid no attention to the surrounding cultivators. Now he was eager to get back home. After all, it's been half a year since he returned home or saw his Tao companion. This filled him with longing. He exerted all his strength to activate the light body talisman, and at that moment, he found his speed was more than double than before. The consumption of primordial spiritual power was also cut in half. Obviously, this was due to the breakthrough in the soaring snake technique. After advancing to the Tier 2 late stage, the power of his bloodline divine power palm wind received a massive boost, allowing him to master the wind power with greater ease. This made it easier for him to control the wind, as if he were a born child of wind. As a result, his speed reached an incredible level. Even the speed of cultivators at foundation establishment perfection couldn't compare to his. He was like a supersonic aircraft, swiftly slicing through the sky. In just a few hours, Jiang Fan returned to Fire Copper Island. And few cultivators noticed his return. Husband. At this moment, Su Weiwei, who was cultivating at the estate on Fire Copper Island, seemed to sense something, and her beautiful face showed a look of surprise. She turned her head and saw Jiang Fan returning. This was also thanks to the power of the yin-yang mandarin duck talisman. After a long period of cultivation together, they had reached a point where their minds were perfectly in sync. Thus, in some mysterious way, Su Weiwei could sense Jiang Fan's presence, and so could Jiang Fan. Even though Jiang Fan was in the Yiling secret realm, which was a very long distance away. But Su Weiwei could vaguely sense Jiang Fan's current life and death status, so she was very reassured and didn't worry about Jiang Fan being in life-threatening danger. Not bad, seems you've grown quite a bit. Jiang Fan approached and embraced Su Weiwei tightly. He could feel Su Weiwei's fiery and mature body. After half a year apart, not only had Su Weiwei's cultivation reached the Qi cultivation 9th layer perfection, but her body seemed to have developed further, making her as alluring as a ripe peach. Her figure was curvaceous and fiery, exuding an enchanting fragrance. She was simply a peerless beauty. Every move, every smile was infinitely charming, making one salivate. He felt his own blood and chi being stirred by this allure, utterly beyond control. "Pa, you big villain." Su Weiwei gave Jiang Fan a coquettish glance, but she also felt the same way, lonely and hard to bear. Whoosh! The next second, Jiang Fan scooped up this peerless beauty and carried her into the bedroom. Not long after, enchanting sounds emanated from the bedroom, lingering for a long time. Several more days passed. Jiang Fan and Su Weiwei were inseparable, hardly leaving the bedroom. After all, they hadn't seen each other for half a year. Only thus could they alleviate their yearning for one another. Of course, this also greatly benefited Su Weiwei's cultivation. Because Jiang Fan was already a 6th layer foundation establishment cultivator and a Tier 2 late-stage body cultivator. His cultivation was far stronger than Su Weiwei's. Through the power of the yin-yang mandarin duck talisman, threads of blood qi flowed from Jiang Fan, thoroughly improving Su Weiwei's physique, making her body increasingly perfect. As a result, Su Weiwei's success rate in advancing to foundation establishment would be significantly higher. Jiang Fan's heart stirred, and he suddenly realized his life talisman perception talisman skill level had unconsciously increased, reaching the great success level, more than doubling in strength compared to before. A great success level perception talisman could expand his spiritual sense detection range 7-fold. At the same time, the concealment ability of his spiritual sense was greatly enhanced, making it even less likely to be detected by other cultivators. The reason for such a rapid increase was naturally due to dual cultivation. Their minds were in sync, their spirit merged, so his soul power gained a substantial boost. As a result, the skill level of the perception talisman naturally increased. However, this was also because the perception talisman was almost at a breakthrough point, which led to such a transformation. Chapter 363. Chapter 209 Nascent Soul Spiritual Object, The Great Catastrophe is Coming, /2. Boom tilde. In an instant, the power of the perception talisman spread out, effortlessly enveloping the entire Fire Copper Island. The range of perception compared to before was not only expanded, but also clearer and more detailed. To a certain extent, it had a higher resolution. Previously, he could only perceive the voices of many cultivators on the island. But now it had reached an extremely detailed level. He could perceive the voices of nearly every cultivator distinctly, as if they were speaking right next to his ear. Moreover, the sounds did not interfere with each other. This feeling was incredibly mysterious. At this moment, many independent cultivators on the island were discussing matters related to the Yiling secret realm. After all, the Yiling secret realm had just closed, and many cultivators gained benefits from it. This had already become the hottest topic in the sea area. Tusk. This time the opening of the Yiling secret realm made many independent cultivators wealthy overnight. It said that some Qi cultivation stage independent cultivators obtained several spiritual artifacts and even some Foundation establishment spirit medicine. It seems that Foundation establishment is hopeful. In the future, more Foundation establishment cultivators or even Foundation establishment families will emerge in this sea area. An independent cultivator said with envy, jealousy, and hate. He wasn't strong enough, so he did not venture into the Yiling secret realm. But hearing the news of overnight wealth from the Yiling secret realm, he couldn't help but feel envy and resent his cowardice. Alas, every time the Yiling secret realm appears, the number of Foundation establishment cultivators in this sea area explodes, and for us, it is indeed an unprecedented opportunity, unfortunately only appearing once a century. Many were also envious. Haha, always see others enjoying the benefits without seeing them get hurt. Indeed, many independent cultivators gained benefits. But this opening of the Yiling secret realm also led to the deaths of many cultivators. At least more than half perished, which shows how perilous the Yiling secret realm is. Those who gain benefits from inside, which one isn't an elite among elites? Someone said eerily. Although many envied the benefits gained by those independent cultivators, some also focused on the dangers of the Yiling secret realm. This opening of the secret realm created many lucky ones, but also led to the deaths of many cultivators. Thus, the strength of the Yiling Island group surprisingly remained balanced, not increasing much. That's indeed the case. Not to speak of distant matters, take our Red Whale Island influence for example. It said Fan Herong, Zhang Yunsheng, Miao Feng, Huang Yunqiang, and other Foundation establishment cultivators perished inside. It's a loss of over half. Only Cao Rui, Peng Dej, Lu Heijing, and others from the Foundation establishment still survived. It's a heavy loss indeed. Someone meticulously tallied the losses of the Red Whale Island influence this time. To a certain extent, such a loss is comparable to waging war against other Golden Core influences. But now these Foundation establishment cultivators died in the Yiling secret realm. It's really unfortunate. Fan Herong died. Upon hearing this news, Jiang Fan was shocked, completely unforeseen that Fan Herong would die. After all, he had already dealt with those Black Shark Island Foundation establishment cultivators. By logic, even if Fan Herong was severely injured, he should still be able to survive safely. But now hearing about Fan Herong's death was truly unexpected. Though upon careful consideration, it wasn't entirely impossible. After all, the Yiling secret realm was filled with great danger. Even without the pursuit from Black Shark Island's Foundation establishment, there still existed many demons and other forces, Foundation establishment. If Fan Herong happened to be careless, he would still meet other calamities and perish. One could only say he still didn't change Fan Herong's fate. Even though he saved Fan Herong once, the others still fell in another calamity. But this didn't have much to do with him. He had already done his utmost. It's not just our Red Whale Island Foundation establishment dying so many. Actually, the most tragic is the Black Shark Island influence. It said they lost and had wounded 10 to 20 Foundation establishments this time. They don't even know how those Foundation establishment cultivators died. So the Black Shark Island influence lost troops and generals this time, fearing they won't start a war for a long time. Another person said, speaking about Black Shark Island's situation. But it's not only Black Shark Island. For instance, Spirit Turtle Island and Fish Dragon Island's forces also suffered heavy losses. Many Foundation establishment cultivators fell. It's really great. With so many Foundation establishment cultivators dead, there likely won't be any wars in the Yiling Island group anytime soon. It said every time the Yiling secret realm appears, this sea area remains calm for some time. It seems the rumor is indeed true, quite accurate. With so many Foundation establishment cultivators dead and new ones not yet appearing, isn't peace inevitable? Indeed, it has to be recuperation and growth. Many cultivators were delighted. For these independent cultivators, the last thing they wanted to see was war. Once war breaks out, these independent cultivators become cannon fodder, surely suffering countless deaths and injuries. Even if victorious, they can't reap many benefits from war. Almost all benefits are seized by Foundation establishment and Golden Core cultivators, leaving nothing for them. So naturally, they don't want war to break out. Otherwise, they are the unlucky ones. It might not be inevitable that war breaks out. I know this time, not only many Foundation establishment cultivators perished, even some golden core Genren were the same. It seems some golden core Genren fell in the secret realm world, and some were seriously injured. For instance, our Red Whale Island's Red Whale Taoist and his daughter appeared to have suffered quite some injuries. But the exact injuries are not yet known. Someone spoke mysteriously. What? This statement shocked everyone, feeling unbelievable. If the Red Whale Taoist really encountered major issues, it would be of no benefit to them, since a golden core Genren is the pillar to their influence. If collapsed, other cultivators won't have a pleasant time either. The islands in the sea would surely be eyed by other golden core influences. What happens then is hard to say. No way is this thing true or false, don't spout nonsense. Many cultivators couldn't help but swallow a mouthful of saliva. I'm not spouting nonsense, the news came from elsewhere. It seems intentionally leaked by Fish Dragon Island's golden core influences to let other influences know. Rumor has it, during this Yiling secret realm journey, the area golden core Genren were in encountered a great opportunity. Inside discovered a nascent soul spiritual object, which can aid golden core Genren to promote to nascent soul. This made golden core Genren go mad, even causing a war. After a fierce scramble, the treasure seems to have been obtained by Red Whale Taoist. The person said solemnly, recounting all he knew. But this news was too astonishing, causing the cultivators present to be utterly stunned. No way, Red Whale Taoist actually obtained the nascent soul spiritual object. Troublesome, this is truly troublesome. Many independent cultivators shivered. There's a saying, a man without guilt possesses Jade and incurs guilt. Previously, Red Whale Island became a neutral influence because Red Whale Taoist was about to perish, posing no threat to other influences, thus earning their respect. But now the situation completely changed. Red Whale Taoist obtained the nascent soul spiritual object. This is a rare treasure coveted by all golden core Genren. If Red Whale Taoist had immense strength to suppress all influences, then it wouldn't matter. Other influences wouldn't dare have improper thoughts. The problem is Red Whale Taoist doesn't have such absolute strength, certainly will be coveted by others. Might even attract the siege of many golden core Genren. The emergence of the nascent soul spiritual object will surely alter the landscape of all influences in this sea area. Red Whale Island's stable influence of hundreds of years might undergo earth-shattering changes. These independent cultivators who rely on the Red Whale Island influence will certainly be embroiled in turmoil. Disaster is coming. This is the first thought in all independent cultivators' minds. Chapter 364, Chapter 210, Red Whale Taoist ran away, easily crossing the tribulation. Nascent soul spiritual object. Upon sensing this information, Jiang Fan's eyes flickered. Like those loose cultivators, he too felt a sense of impending doom. After all, it was indeed beneficial that Red Whale Taoist and his daughter, Yu Ryulin, had obtained the nascent soul spiritual object. It might provide an opportunity to promote to nascent soul in the future. But if they couldn't keep it safe, everything would be for naught. They might even be besieged by numerous golden core Genren. Then, as a member of Red Whale Island's influence, he would inevitably be affected. He hadn't expected that, having just left the Yiling secret realm not long ago, disaster would strike again. Boom tilde tilde. Right at that moment, Jiang Fan perceived the fortune-telling talisman deep within the elixir field, and sea of qi starting to vibrate as if communicating with the heavens, and a stream of information instantly penetrated into the depths of his sea of consciousness. Nascent soul spiritual object, clouds move in all directions, chaos center, remain unmoved. Escape from the Red Whale Island sea region, a rootless duckweed may encounter disaster, doom. Betray Red Whale Island influence, join other golden core influences, great doom. Remain on Fire Copper Island, maintain the status quo, gain nothing, obtain nothing, peace. What? Sensing this information, Jiang Fan's eyes gleamed with a trace of brilliance. Clearly, in the face of this sudden disaster, the fortune-telling talisman still gave plenty of informational hints. Undeniably, Red Whale Taoist obtaining the nascent soul spiritual object would plunge this sea region into massive chaos. But he couldn't stop such a thing. After all, no golden core Genren would ever relinquish a nascent soul's spiritual object. In the face of this disaster, he currently has only three choices. The first, naturally, is to escape the Red Whale Island Sea region and stay away from the center of the disaster. Obviously, this choice is not very wise. Once he leaves the Red Whale Island Sea region without a new destination, he becomes like a rootless duckweed, thus possibly encountering other disasters. After all, the Yiling secret realm just closed, and many cultivators gained opportunities inside. Although it's unlikely that conflicts between influences will occur at this time, attacks between Foundation establishment cultivators are still common, and he might even be targeted by a tribulation cultivator. If he goes elsewhere, he might encounter covetous cultivators, thus facing great disaster. He might even be targeted by golden core Genren. The second choice is, of course, to betray Red Whale Island and join other golden core influences. But then, he would completely anger Red Whale Taoist and become a dead enemy of Red Whale Island's influence. Clearly, this choice is more dangerous than the first, already a sign of great doom. Making such a choice is indeed tantamount to courting death. Moreover, even if he does join another golden core influence, it's highly unlikely he'll be valued. Such a traitor is unpopular wherever he goes. Thus, staying put, remaining on Fire Copper Island, seems to be the most correct choice. Jiang Fan stroked his chin. Though staying on Fire Copper Island means gaining nothing and obtaining nothing, in this world, not every choice necessarily brings great rewards. Sometimes safety is actually the greatest gain, the biggest benefit. Even without opportunities, it is entirely insignificant as long as he can cultivate steadily and peacefully. That would suffice. But why is staying on Fire Copper Island the best choice? Could it be that other golden core influences dare not invade Red Whale Island? Jiang Fan was quite curious about this. He reckoned that other golden core Genren dared not attack, which was also understandable. After all, Red Whale Taoist and his daughter are not easy to deal with. They had previously killed 3 golden core Genren, proving their formidable battle prowess. Other golden core Genren, if they come, need to measure their weight. One careless move, and they might be taken away by Red Whale Taoist. So if those golden core Genren dare not come, it's not impossible. But what would truly happen still needs time to be seen. Husband, I've heard that Red Whale Island is about to face great disaster. Is it true? At that moment, Su Weiwei seems to have also heard some news, returning from outside. Indeed, there could be issues. Jiang Fan nodded. If so, should we leave here? Su Weiwei asked curiously. Though reluctant to leave Fire Copper Island, if it were too risky to stay, she'd rather not die here. No need for now, Fire Copper Island is still quite safe. Let's wait and watch the developments. Jiang Fan reassured. Okay. Hearing this, Su Weiwei breathed a sigh of relief. As long as her husband said so, there would certainly be no problem. Foolish. Knowing that other golden core influences might invade, yet staying here. Do you plan to die with Red Whale Island? The 10,000 transformations pill furnace was puzzled. Clearly, this owner is very timid and cautious, and would flee at the slightest anomaly. But now he hasn't escaped and remains instead, which is truly baffling. What do you know? Running away isn't always the best choice. Jiang Fan said indifferently. The 10,000 transformations pill furnace was momentarily speechless, not knowing what to say. However, over these years, the owner's decisions have never been wrong. What this time would be like remains unknown. Several days later, Jiang Fan obtained a shocking piece of news from Red Whale Island, that Red Whale Taoist and her daughter Yu Yulin had quietly left Red Whale Island. Chapter 365. Chapter 210. Red Whale Taoist escapes, easily crossing the tribulation /2. In other words, this sea territory no longer has the protection of a golden core Genren. This revelation shocked the cultivators in the area. No one expected that others hadn't fled yet, but Red Whale Taoist had already taken off. Currently, no one knows the whereabouts of the 2 golden core Genren. Many cultivators are filled with anxiety, uncertain of their future. Haha, I said we should have left early, did I? Who would have thought that you all hadn't left yet, and the golden core Genren had already fled? These days, people aren't loyal at all. The 10,000 transformations pill furnace jeered upon hearing the news. If it had a stomach, it would be laughing until it hurt. What do you know? The red whale Taoist leaving is actually a good thing, a great thing. Jiang Fan's eyes gleamed, but his face showed a look of relief, feeling immense joy. He finally understood why the fortune-telling talisman advised him not to leave, but to stay here instead. Looking at it now, staying on Fire Copper Island is indeed the best and safest choice. A great thing, why is that? The 10,000 transformations pill furnace was puzzled. After all, when a golden core Zhenren leaves a golden core influence, that influence tends to disintegrate. How could that be a good thing? It was utterly baffled, not understanding the mysteries behind it. If the golden core Zhenren truly fled, it'd naturally not be a good thing. But Red Whale Taoist is different. He's not just fleeing but is on a strategic retreat. Moreover, he's fleeing with a nascent soul spiritual object. In a realm as vast as the cultivation realm, no one knows where the Red Whale Taoist might go. Even if they want to find him, they couldn't. One could say, Red Whale Taoist and his group are extremely safe now, without the risk of being besieged by other golden core Zhenren. In fact, since they've obtained a nascent soul spiritual object, there's even a chance they might be promoted to nascent soul in the future. Once becoming a nascent soul cultivator, they'd stand above all golden core Zhenren in Yiling Island group. Jiang Fan said in a deep voice. It's merely a possibility. Even with a nascent soul spiritual object, whether they can promote to nascent soul is still uncertain. The 10,000 transformations pill furnace was quite puzzled. Indeed, it's just a possibility. But that's enough. As a golden core Zhenren, aren't they all sly old foxes? They represent not just themselves, but also their families and the influences behind them. No one dares to bet on Red Whale Taoist and Yu Yulin failing to promote to nascent soul. If they succeed, they'd be utterly doomed. So they don't need to gamble, just silently wait and watch how things unfold. Jiang Fan said, I understand now. To those golden core influence, the Red Whale Island Sea region truly is nothing. At least, it's not a must-have priceless treasure for a golden core Zhenren. Even if they gained the islands in this sea territory, it would merely be icing on the cake, just a gain of more spirit stones. Those sly old golden core Zhenren have no need to take such a great risk for such minor benefits and consequently offend future nascent soul cultivators. Thus, after Red Whale Taoist and his group left, the Red Whale Island Sea region might actually become safer in the future. The 10,000 transformations pill furnace realized suddenly. It looked admirably at its master, never expecting that such far-sighted thoughts were behind this matter. The departure of Red Whale Taoist and Yu Yulin would, instead, make this sea region safer. At least, it would deter those golden core Zhenren from invading this place. Sometimes, taking a step back actually means consolidating strength, intimidating the opponent, making them hesitate to act rashly. Exactly, that's why I said this time, the Red Whale Island Sea region is considered safe. Jiang Fan slightly smiled. He felt that the message from the fortune-telling talisman had been utterly vindicated. Remaining unchanged to cope with all changes is the correct choice. If after hearing this news, one panicked and fled, it would only land them in disaster. Let alone betraying Red Whale Island, becoming a turncoat, that would be courting death. Of course, such a hypothesis isn't 100% correct. There's always a chance that some reckless golden core Zhenren would come to Red Whale Island, attempting to seize this sea territory. This, however, is a very low probability event. Human nature is indeed complicated. But the fortune-telling talisman has informed him that such a low probability event wouldn't occur. Staying on Fire Copper Island seems relatively safe. The question is how long the deterrence of the Red Whale Taoist could last. The 10,000 transformations pill furnace felt this intangible deterrence wouldn't last long. After all, if Red Whale Taoist doesn't appear for a long time, other golden core Zhenren would stop fearing him, perhaps even thinking he failed to promote to nascent soul. After all, promoting to nascent soul is inherently extremely difficult. Within a millennium, not a single nascent soul has emerged from this endless sea region. This shows how difficult it truly is to become a nascent soul cultivator. I don't know, but at the very least, it can last for 10 years. And maintaining stability for 10 years is completely sufficient for me. Jiang Fan smiled. He wasn't expecting the disappearance of Red Whale Taoist and Yu Yulin to be able to deter those golden core influences for too long. If they had 10 years, it would be entirely enough. After all, given his speed of cultivation, in 10 years, he might be able to promote to golden core. By that time, even if Red Whale Taoist hadn't returned, he wouldn't fear other golden core influences. Eventually, he might even replace Red Whale Taoist's original position and become the new master of this sea region's golden core influence. Indeed, the 10,000 transformations pill furnace couldn't help but nod, agreeing with this point. For other cultivators, a mere 10 years is nothing, just a blink of an eye. But for its master, a lot could happen in that time. Now, its master merely lacks a stable environment and time for cultivation. For now, staying here and cultivating is indeed the best choice. After all, the profound Celestial Sword Sect and Xianxia sect are still at war, with conflicts raging on land. Conversely, Yiling Island Group C region is somewhat safer, at least experiencing less chaos and conflict. Another few days passed. The Red Whale Island Sea region remained peaceful, without any war occurring. It's as if those golden core influences are blind, not noticing the news of Red Whale Taoist's departure at all. They treated it as if nothing had happened. The cultivators in this sea region initially felt some anxiety. But seeing this situation, they started to feel at ease. What's going on? Earlier it really frightened me. I thought after the news of the nascent soul's spiritual object spread, the golden core influences of Black Shark Island and Fish Dragon Island would come with armies, but nothing happened. To my knowledge, initially, those golden core Genren did want to come over and even allied with each other, but who would have thought Red Whale Taoist just left, which baffled those golden core Genren. After all, if they can't find Red Whale Taoist, their siege plan is moot. It's more than just moot. If Red Whale Taoist promotes to nascent soul in the future and returns, and the golden core Genren really tried to deal with Red Whale Island's influence, they'd become mortal enemies and would surely be dealt with. No wonder those golden core influences are acting blind, not daring to attack our Red Whale Island Sea region, probably worried about Red Whale Taoist's potential promotion to nascent soul. It might not just be Red Whale Taoist they're worried about. They may also be concerned about Ruelin's future potential promotion to nascent soul. So temporarily speaking, our sea region is relatively safe. The many loose cultivators were in a heated discussion. They now realized why those golden core influences wouldn't dare come after Red Whale Taoist fled. It was a clear case of the pot calling the kettle black. After all, the human heart is complicated, and they wouldn't rashly cause trouble while being cautious of future reprisal. However, during this time, as Jiang Fan was peacefully cultivating on Fire Copper Island, he was summoned by acting island master Cao Rui, who happened to be the senior disciple of Red Whale Taoist, for some discussion. He mulled it over and decided there shouldn't be any issue, so he set off for Red Whale Island. Chapter 366, Chapter 211, Perfection Level Celestial Thunder Talisman, Ominous Sign Emerges. Red Whale Island. Jiang Fan came to this Tier 3 island once again. Compared to last time, it was obviously not as bustling and lively. Even some of the honored guest elders had noticeably decreased. At the same time, the disciples of Red Whale Taoist had suffered casualties from the Yiling secret realm. More than half were gone. Thus, there was a sense of desolation. However, when Jiang Fan met Cao Rui again, he found that the other party wasn't in the least bit dejected, but rather seemed somewhat spirited, as if full of hope. Fellow Taoist Jiang, I didn't expect you to still stay with us on Red Whale Island despite knowing our situation. You truly have a loyal and brave heart, Cao Rui said with much emotion. Ever since those honored guest elders learned that Red Whale Taoist had obtained a nascent soul spiritual object and would soon be besieged by many golden core influences, they were all scared off. Some honored guest elders even betrayed Red Whale Island and became spies for other influences. Loyal foundational establishment cultivators like Jiang Fan were indeed one of a kind. Undoubtedly, compared to other honored guest elders, it was enough to prove Jiang Fan's noble spirit. Even if he was Red Whale Island's closest ally, at least he was a trustworthy person. I don't deserve such praise. I am merely fulfilling my duty, Jiang Fan said modestly. In fact, if it weren't for the hint from the fortune-telling talisman, he would have fled long ago, not staying here. But that didn't stop him from appearing dutiful. After all, who doesn't appreciate loyal people in this world? Regardless, fellow Taoist Jiang has chosen to stand with us on Red Whale Island in such a critical moment, proving you are indeed trustworthy. This time, Lord Island Master and others temporarily left only to seek a breakthrough opportunity to the nascent soul. Once the breakthrough to nascent soul is achieved, our Red Whale Island will become the only nascent soul influence in this sea region. By then, each of us Foundation Establishment cultivators will have the merit of following the dragon and will surely receive great benefits, Cao Rui said with enthusiasm, drawing a grand picture for Jiang Fan. The reason he invited Jiang Fan over was to give him some reassurance. After the departure of Red Whale Taoist, managing the islands in this sea region required the help of Foundation Establishment cultivators. Even if other Golden Core influences did not intend to attack Red Whale Island, maintaining security in this sea region alone was not easy. Therefore, every Foundation Establishment cultivator was crucial for Red Whale Island now, especially since so many disciples had died on this journey to the Yiling secret realm. This made Red Whale Island even more short-handed. Understood. Jiang Fan nodded. He didn't mind the grand promises. For now, he just wanted a stable place to cultivate. Crash tilde tilde. At this moment, a message instantly entered the depths of his sea of consciousness. By staying with the Red Whale Island influence and not leaving, you have remained unchanged amid changes, avoiding a mortal disaster and gaining 20,000 luck points. What? Upon sensing this message, Jiang Fan felt a burst of joy. Although he didn't gain any fortuitous encounters this time, earning 20,000 luck points was already a pretty good harvest. Such a large amount of luck points would undoubtedly rapidly enhance his life talisman skill level and greatly boost his strength. In the blink of an eye, another 3 months passed. During this time, the Red Whale Island sea region was always calm, with no issues arising. Obviously, without the nascent soul spiritual object, other Golden Core influences had no interest in this territory anymore. After all, the Yiling Island group was too vast, and though the Red Whale Island sea region was decent, it wasn't so desirable that any Golden Core Genren dared to risk offending a future nascent soul cultivator's influence. No matter what, anyone who could cultivate to the Golden Core realm surely possessed intelligence and depth. They wouldn't act rashly but would weigh pros and cons. Jiang Fan was also peacefully cultivating on Fire Copper Island. During this time, he consumed a large number of luck points. The perception talisman has finally reached perfection level. At this moment, Jiang Fan sat cross-legged on the ground, activating the life talisman perception talisman on his body. An invisible fluctuation of spiritual sense enveloped every direction, covering the whole of Fire Copper Island. Compared to before, the range it could cover had become even broader. The great success level perception talisman could only expand 7 times. But the perfection level perception talisman could extend the spiritual sense 10 times as much. This meant that his perception range was more than 10 times that of a cultivator of the same Foundation Establishment rank. No, his soul power was inherently stronger than his peers at the Foundation Establishment level. With this combination, the range he could perceive became even more formidable. More importantly, the power of spiritual sense became more concealed, capable of penetrating various places. It was equivalent to the spirit sense of a Golden Core. In other words, cultivators of the same Foundation Establishment rank were nearly unable to detect the power of his spiritual sense. It was like a higher dimensional spiritual sense. Such a powerful perception ability can only be comparable to a Golden Core Genren. Jiang Fan clenched his fists. He felt that his perception range was comparable to a cultivator newly entering the Golden Core, much stronger than Foundation Establishment cultivators. They were basically not in the same league. With such a formidable perception power, other cultivators wanting to ambush him were virtually impossible. Crash tilde tilde. Thinking of this, he was stirred and opened the virtual panel. Chapter 367, Chapter 211, Perfection Level Celestial Thunder Talisman, Ominous Sign appears /2. Name Jiang Fan. Life Chart, Great Blessings equal to Heaven Attribute. Survive Great Tribulation, Future Blessings ensue. Lifespan 2000. Spirit Root, Earth Spirit Root. Luck Points, 110,000. Wealth, 1,400,000 Spirit Stones. Cultivation Technique, Soaring Snake Technique, Foundation Establishment Chapter Tier 2 Late Stay. Cultivation Technique, Mixed Element Talisman Scripture, second layer. Innate Divine Techniques, Emperor's Gaze, Palm Wind. Life Talisman, Cyan Lotus Earth Fire Talisman Mastery, Yin Yang Mandarin Duck Talisman Mastery, Fortune Telling Talisman Mastery, Soul Shaking Talisman Mastery, Enchantment Talisman Mastery, Earth Escape Talisman Mastery, Profound Turtle Talisman Beginner, Ice Talisman Mastery, 10,000 Swords Return to the Sect Talisman Beginner. Realm, 6th Layer Foundation Establishment, 60%. Profession, Tier 2 Middle Grade Talisman Master, 90%. Clearly, the Celestial Thunder Talisman and Perception Talisman have reached the perfection level, so they disappeared from the virtual panel. After all, they have already reached perfection, so there's no need for them to appear again. A lot of luck points have been consumed from my body as well. Currently, only 110,000 are left. Most of the luck points obtained before have been entirely consumed. But all this is worth it. After all, the function of the Perception Talisman is indeed tremendous. He believes that the next life talismans to reach perfection should be the Soul-Shaking Talisman and the Enchantment Talisman, because these also belong to the Soul-type Talisman. Both are the same, so it's easier to increase their skill level. However, the cultivation is still progressing too slowly. Without the assistance of Tier 2 elixirs, it's still very difficult to quickly improve cultivation. I guess I need to buy some Tier 2 elixirs. Jiang Fan stroked his chin. To be honest, it's quite simple to buy Tier 2 elixirs. Each major golden core influence holds auctions. These auctions often feature Tier 2 elixirs, and many foundation establishment cultivators will bid for them. The most famous auction is naturally from the Fish Dragon Island influence. It's said that Fish Dragon Island has many alchemists capable of refining large quantities of elixirs each year. Many cultivators come here for that reason. That's why Fish Dragon Island develops so quickly. It's actually very easy to get to Fish Dragon Island. There are flights available from Red Whale Island to Fish Dragon Island almost daily. It's completely possible to take a spaceship. Although it costs a considerable number of spirit stones, it is safe. However, Jiang Fan doesn't want his movements exposed to other cultivators, so he plans to rely on the light body talisman to get there. After all, after breaking through with the soaring snake technique, his bloodline divine power palm wind's capabilities have become even more formidable. This has also doubled the speed of his light body talisman. Moreover, the consumption of spiritual power has greatly reduced. It can be said that his speed is not inferior to a Tier 2 spaceship, perhaps even surpassing it. There's no need to take a spaceship. Also, being alone is indeed more relaxed and more secretive. Whoosh! With this thought in mind, after whispering to Su Weiwei, Jiang Fan quietly headed to Fish Dragon Island. In just 2 or 3 days, he crossed the vast sea and reached the famous commercial island, Fish Dragon Island. So this is Fish Dragon Island. After entering Fish Dragon Island, Jiang Fan knew that it must be one of the most prosperous islands in the Yiling Island group. Its area is several times larger than Red Whale Island. Commercial districts were built one after another. A large number of cultivators reside on it. The hustle and bustle is unceasing. You can basically buy anything you want here. It's a gold sink. Moreover, foundation establishment cultivators are quite common here. However, golden core cultivators are still scarce. After all, in this vast sea area, golden core cultivators are still a minority. But this is enough, as for now he only needs Tier 2 resources. In no time, Jiang Fan reached the auction on Fish Dragon Island. As the Yiling secret realm had just ended, many foundation establishment cultivators gained opportunities, thus making a fortune. So many foundation establishment cultivators came here to auction the treasures they obtained. A large number of treasures flowed out. It's considered a rare event in the sea area. White Cold Sword, a top-grade spiritual artifact. Once wielded, it can invoke extreme cold power while being indestructible, with astonishing power, starting bid at 50,000 spirit stones, first come, first served. Tier 2 Array Plate, 5-element spirit gathering array. It has the ability for gathering spirit defense, among others. The coverage can reach 100 miles. It can operate with spirit veins or by consuming spirit stones, able to withstand the attack of multiple late-stage foundation establishment cultivators for the time it takes an incense to burn, starting bid at 200,000 spirit stones. If you miss this chance, there's no telling when the next one will come. Tier 2 Spirit Medicine Extreme Cold Ganoderma. It has 200 years of medicinal power, grows in locations of extreme cold, can be consumed directly or used in elixir refining, starting bid at 10,000 spirit stones. Tier 2 Superior Elixir Cyan Flame Pill. The main ingredients are Centennial Spirit Medicine Cyan Flame Grass, Black Gastratia. Once consumed, the medicinal power is like a flame, fierce and rapid, capable of quickly boosting spiritual power within. This masterwork is starting at 30,000 spirit stones per bottle. If you miss it, you might not get another chance. I hope you all seize the opportunity. One auction item after another was brought out on the stage, instantly prompting a large number of foundation establishment cultivators to bid, for normally, where would so many treasures appear? But now, as many cultivators have obtained opportunities, all major forces are willing to bring them out and harvest a batch. Indeed, coming here was the right choice. To think there are so many Tier 2 elixirs, and even spirit medicines. Seeing these auction items, Jiang Fan's eyes glinted with excitement. Chapter 368, Chapter 211, Perfection Level Celestial Thunder Talisman, Ominous Sign appears /3. Although obtaining elixirs and spirit medicines through chance opportunities is indeed a good choice, these chances are rare in normal circumstances. Most of the time, things are quite ordinary without any opportunities. If you want to acquire elixirs through prestigious means, you still have to go to auctions or shops. This is the long-term plan. However, for Jiang Fan now, this doesn't really matter. After all, he is very wealthy, at least having over 1,000,000 spirit stones. Such wealth is akin to that of a newly ascended golden core cultivator. Ordinary foundation, establishment cultivators simply can't compare with him. Thinking of this, Jiang Fan immediately took action to auction off the Cyan Flame Pill. He successfully auctioned 5 bottles of Cyan Flame Pill, costing 15,000 spirit stones. At the same time, he auctioned some Tier 2 spirit medicines, costing 10,000 spirit stones. He even auctioned a Tier 2 low-grade magic robe, costing 5,000 spirit stones. Although Jiang Fan doesn't need a magic robe for protection, Su Weiwei does. Judging by Su Weiwei's cultivation progress, it's only a matter of time before she advances to foundation establishment. So the Tier 2 magic robe will soon be useful. It's safe to say that this trip cost him at least 20 to 30,000 spirit stones. But this doesn't really matter, it's just a small fraction of his wealth. Also, spirit stones are no more than ordinary stones if not utilized. It's better to quickly convert spirit stones into personal cultivation. What a pity I can't continue buying. Otherwise, I would definitely attract attention. Naturally, Jiang Fan saw many tempting treasures at the auction, but he restrained himself. After all, he is currently weak, and can't compare with those foundation establishments with strong backgrounds. If he exposes too much wealth, he would surely be targeted. Though Fish Dragon Island has a good reputation, there's seldom any killing for treasure. But that's only because the benefits aren't large enough. If big enough, Fish Dragon Island could do anything. Though he still needs to be cautious and careful. Boom tilde tilde. Just at that moment, the fortune-telling talisman deep in Jiang Fan's elixir field and sea of qi began to tremble, buzzing, and an influx of information suddenly lodged into the depths of his sea of consciousness. Tribulation Cultivator appears, clouds surge in all directions, choose actions timely, fortune and disaster depend on oneself. Leaving tomorrow at noon may lead to disaster, great misfortune. Leaving in the evening and flying southeast is great fortune. Leaving in 10 days, nothing gained, nothing lost, neutral. What? Upon perceiving this information, Jiang Fan's eyes flashed with brilliance. He hadn't expected to activate the fortune-telling talisman at this time, indicating that a calamity was undoubtedly approaching. If he's not careful, he could fall into a life-and-death tribulation. Tribulation Cultivator appears. Does it mean a tribulation cultivator targeted the cultivators on Fish Dragon Island? But it's not specifically targeting me, rather everyone coming to Fish Dragon Island. So if the timing is wrong, one might fall into a dire, life-threatening situation. Jiang Fan's eyes flickered. From this information, he could glean many future changes. To be honest, the appearance of a tribulation cultivator is not surprising. This is a common phenomenon within the Yiling Island group. But the omen of great misfortune was enough to prove the complexity of the situation. Given his current strength, Ordinary foundation establishments are not his match. Yet even so, it's still extremely dangerous. This implies the tribulation cultivator might actually be a golden core genre.